This week, I talked to Jai-Lyn Norwood, or as I will be calling her from now on, J-Star. Jai-Lyn uses she/they pronouns and is the founder of the Indy Black Climbers group right here in Indy. I had a truly wonderful time sitting down to talk with Jai-Lyn, but I think more importantly, after recording, she invited me to climb some walls with her. I think this is where her personality, experience as a teacher, and someone who brings people together just to experience climbing really shined. I've personally never felt so encouraged while bouldering before and super enjoyed it. If you ever get the chance to stop in at North Mass Boulder and say hi to Jai-Lyn, definitely do so. You won't be disappointed, and she'll probably ask you to climb too. I think she's obsessed. Also, listening back to this recording, I did not realize how much of a rave was happening around us. I was so engaged with Jai-Lyn that I just didn't notice the music. So hopefully you like techno music, because there's a lot of thumping beats throughout this episode, but I don't think it disrupts the great conversation I had. If you want to live in a world where I am regularly going to North Mass Boulder, consider supporting the podcast. To do this, you can go to support.thirdspaceindy.com, or by liking and subscribing on YouTube, or by leaving a review on whichever podcast platform you're listening on. Anything helps, and I appreciate those of you who have done so already. Now, let's climb into the show.
Hello, my name is Michael Zarek, and this is Third Space Indy. In 1989, a man named Ray Oldenburg wrote a book called The Great Good Place. And in this book, he coined the term the third place. This describes somewhere outside of your home and outside of your work that you can go be with others, be together, and build community. So I've made it my goal to find people all over Indianapolis who are doing their very best to create these types of spaces. Today, I'm sitting in a place that gets mentioned on the podcast a lot, which is North Mass Boulder. And we're talking to a person who I think creates community for a small group of people, but I think ever growing.
Yeah.
And we're here to talk to Jai-Lyn Star Norwood of the Indy Black Climbers.
Yeah.
And how you doing?
I'm doing great.
Yeah, you have been smiling since I walked in the door, and that is like, I think so, maybe that's the climber in you. You just like have optimism running in your veins.
I would say so. Yeah, I'm excited to be here. I always love just being here, and this seems cool and fun.
So for anyone who may not know who you are and what Indy Black Climbers is, could you share a little bit about that?
Yeah. Indy Black Climbers is a group, an organization, and we just seek to expand access to climbing, indoor and outdoor. We have meetups here at North Mass once a month. And we have crash courses at the meetup. So we just teach people how to climb, just basic beginner skills, just to make their intro to climbing more comfortable. And I want to diversify the space, and I want to bring my community in here because I love this place so much, and I just want to share it with people.
Yeah. And you're the founder?
Yeah.
And you have been climbing since 2023. You mentioned that to me before. When did you start Indy Black Climbers?
I started Indy Black Climbers in 2024.
Okay. So
September
you were like
of 2024.
Immediately like, I need friends.
Yes, immediately. It took me a while to find solid community here. I think a lot of the times I felt maybe just a little different than everyone else who walked in the gym. I wanted to be able to have that strong community, and
And for yourself, so that's Indy Black Climbers. Is there anything about yourself you want to say? Who are you?
I'm a teacher.
Yo.
I also teach third grade. I love teaching so much. I love teaching climbing. I love bringing people in here and just showing them the best way to get up the wall. I take my friends outside. I love teaching them just how to climb outside, how to be safe and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So teaching is a passion of mine.
What subject do you teach in school?
I teach third grade.
So it's just like
So,
general
just
education.
general education.
I don't know how
Yeah.
school works.
Yeah.
It's interesting. So it also makes like perfect sense that you are pulling that skill set into this.
Yes.
So how did you get started climbing?
One of my friends brought me here, and I walked in, I climbed a few routes, and I was immediately obsessed. And then I just kept coming back. I was like, I want to do this for a long time. And then we really got into it.
Do you know what exactly got you obsessed? Was it like the sense of failure or the sense of overcoming like hurdles?
Yeah.
Or I mean, when you climb a wall, for anyone who has not climbed before, a bouldering wall is called when you climb a specific wall, it's called a problem.
Yeah.
So like solving problems.
Yeah.
Is that like something you're into?
Yeah, I think especially the body movement of it really intrigued me. I was an athlete growing up. I ran track and I played volleyball in college.
Let's go.
So yeah, I love to move my body, and I never really heard of climbing before I came here. I mean, I knew that it existed, but not like this. So I thought this was super interesting. The problem solving aspect of it was also just itched my brain a little bit. And yeah, I also just loved the community. I loved coming in here with people. I feel like I spend most of my time just talking when I come to climb.
I've heard this before.
Yeah.
So you said, so your first time climbing was here.
Yeah.
And you also mentioned to me right before we started recording that it's almost like your religion to come here.
Yes.
How many days of the week would you say you spend here?
I would say like 3 right now. I'm on summer break, maybe 3 to 4.
And then when you're teaching, just like less because
Twice,
teachers
twice.
got no time.
Yeah, no time.
So how many people strong are you? Like who comes, do you hold events? Like what's the structure of Indy Black Climber?
Yeah, so people come in, they'll get a name tag, we'll meet each other, and then they'll just climb. And yeah, people get to meet new people. And I feel like climbing is just so naturally have conversations with people. So I feel like it's really easy for others to get to know each other. And yeah, people just talk, they have a good time, they solve these problems together. And yeah, it's super chill.
I feel like when you are climbing a wall, it is so natural to call out for help.
Yes.
Because you're like, please help me.
Yes.
I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
I'm going to fall and die.
Yeah.
Any of that type of stuff, even though these walls are not high enough to do that to you. And
Yeah.
I think people talking about the conversational aspect of climbing is obviously so natural.
Yeah.
The way we interact with a space like this. How have you found that climbing has, let me rephrase, has climbing changed you as a person in any way?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Honestly, I think I'm better at talking to people because of climbing.
Yeah.
I do feel like I have this new confidence in myself because of climbing as well. Just, being forced to be vulnerable in front of people. I feel like climbing can be very vulnerable. You're on the wall, everyone's watching you, and you're moving your body. And that can be scary sometimes for a lot of people. So I feel like there's this aspect of really putting yourself out there. And yeah, I do feel like it has built this confidence in me that I feel very proud of.
Yeah.
And also just like the overcoming fear aspect of it too. Like that's important to me. And I do think it's changed me and just my mindset as a person. Just got to keep trying until you get it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Two questions. How old are you, and are you from Indianapolis?
I'm 26 and I am from Indianapolis.
Where in Indianapolis are you from?
Lawrence Township.
Okay.
I've lived in Lawrence my whole life.
Still?
I still live in Lawrence.
Okay.
I went to college at Marian University. Love that place. So yeah, I've been here my whole life.
So you would have been, I can do math, subtracting 2. You would have been 24 years old before you climbed for your first time.
Yeah.
Would you say that was the first time you felt community in the way that you do now? Or has there been other times in your life?
I think I think growing up, just playing sports, I think there is kind of this communal aspect of it. I think that I didn't understand that I was kind of in these small communities. But now being at North Mass and kind of like just being an adult and on my own, I understand that I am a person that thrives off of community and just being with other people. So I do think that this is kind of the first place that I've stepped into where I have felt a true sense of like an intentional space for community. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so the difficulty of climbs
Yeah.
goes from 1 to 7. Am I making that up?
Like the V grades? Are you talking
that's V
about?
grades.
Yeah. So it's like V0.
What do they do?
So they go by like the colors here:
Okay.
red, yellow, green, blue, purple, pink, black, white.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are you up to?
I would say I'm consistently climbing pinks.
That's third from the top?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I've done quite a few blacks. I've never done a white before though.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So when you talk about the progression of difficulty
Yeah.
and compare it to, I don't know how to ask this question. I'm not like, I've mentioned this to you, but I'm not like that knowledgeable about climbing. When you talk about teaching other people,
Yeah.
is the act of teaching other people also helping you improve as a climber
Oh yeah, absolutely.
in the way that you sort of think about
Yeah.
the way they're handling a problem?
Yeah, I think so. I think also like all of our bodies are so different, and I think climbing is so different than any other sport because like with baseball you're using a bat and a ball, and with football you have a football, but climbing is just your body. All of our bodies are so different, and there are so many different ways that someone can get up a route. I think a lot of like the teaching is dependent on who you're talking to. So I think that's another aspect of it, is just knowing your audience, knowing who you're talking to. So yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Why do you think people connect with this place so deeply? Like, what is it about North Mass Boulder that people are like, this is my shit?
I don't know.
Like, compared to any other climbing gym,
Yeah, I mean,
period,
I feel
especially ones that I've been to.
any other climbing gym, you walk in and it's like dark and kind of smelly. But you walk in here and it's so lively, and you see people laughing and hanging out with each other. And not only like is this a climbing gym, there's a cafe upstairs, there's a whole fitness area. I don't know, I feel like people can truly be themselves here. And I love that. I love seeing the different types of people that walk in here, and yeah.
The first time I walked in here, I was getting lunch with someone at the pizza place right over there.
Yeah.
And I had just like heard from people what this place was like. And I didn't understand, I think, because you hear North Mass Boulder, North Mass Boulder, North Mass Boulder. And I was like, oh, every other climbing gym I've been to has been like in a, I'm going to say between 2,000 and 3,000 square foot space.
Yeah.
Like really small. This is a freaking warehouse.
It's huge.
I walked in for the first time and you turn left and you're like, what the hell is all that? It's just an entire half warehouse full of walls. And then you turn to the right, there's stairs that goes to a coffee shop, which you mentioned, and like a whole weight and exercise room. And I was like, oh, I kind of like see the vision here.
Oh yeah, no, the vision is big.
I just can't believe a place like this exists to an extent.
Yeah.
Now I have sat at the coffee shop a number of times, walking in and work on my bike. Not only do they have pretty good coffee, but I will say in terms of the amount of people I see interacting at that coffee shop just by way of pure chance, or just like they happen to be working and someone walks up they know, is really cool.
Yes.
Would you say that you have a lot of moments of serendipity being here?
Absolutely. I feel like I can walk into this gym at any given time and see my friends, and or just, you know, see the other regulars that come in, and we give each other a wave, and it's all, I don't know, it's cool that you're able to have that here. I feel like it's really hard to come across a space like this, so I feel very lucky to have this, and I'm sure a lot of other people do too.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So kind of like a two-parter, but like how much would you say the people are creating the space here versus like the space itself?
I think it's mostly the people.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, without the people, what would the space be?
A warehouse.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think it's the people. I think the people bring the vibes. And again, I feel like the people who walk in here are so open and are just themselves. And it's awesome to be around people like that. It's awesome to see people just being.
Yeah. And towards the beginning of the conversation, you referenced maybe not feeling perfectly absorbed or finding a community space.
Yeah.
How do you think, like, can you talk about maybe that lack and how it could have been better at that time?
I think that in the climbing community in general, there is this diversity issue. It's very white.
Yeah.
Not a lot of Black people climb, and it wasn't something that I think I immediately felt like I want to see myself represented in this space. And I started Indy Black Climbers because I saw someone else on Instagram had kind of a Black affinity group specifically for climbing. And I was like, I want that at North Mass. Like, I want to see my people in this gym. And I also think, like, we're in Indianapolis, and Indianapolis is so diverse, and I thought it was crazy that every time I walked into this gym, I sometimes was the only Black person in here. And I wanted to change that. And so, yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But there's definitely a level of, like, who can afford to go.
Yeah.
Like, the gym here is, like, pretty not inexpensive. Who has the free time to come in and do a place like this?
Yeah.
And then obviously there's a level of, like, pseudo ostracizing. That is a terrible word. Ostracizing of, like, oh, I don't see faces like myself, so how do I even feel comfortable going there if I even have the time and money to do so?
Yeah.
So, like, it's really cool that you've done that.
Yeah.
How have you seen it change since you started?
Yeah. Well, I have a lot more of my community members in here now. A few members from Indy Black Climbers have become members at this gym, and we will just see each other sometimes and climb together. I feel like the Black community in Indianapolis just knows about North Mass Boulder now, and some of them at least just know what it is, and they know that it's here. And I feel like, if anything, that's something, because a lot of people who I talk to who, like, live in Indianapolis, and I mentioned North Mass, and they're like, what is that place?
Yeah.
And I'm like, you see it on the interstate, it says North Mass Boulder, and they're like, oh, I've never been in there. And I'm like, yeah, you have to check it out.
You'd be surprised about the amount of things that, like, seem so ubiquitous and obvious to you that people just like,
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Yeah,
or they maybe have, like, seen it and they've never even gone, like, I don't know what that is.
Yeah, but I feel like climbing in general, and in the Black community at least, kind of has this stigma around it, like, that stuff's for white people, like, Black people don't climb, and all this hoo-ha.
Yeah.
And it's just so not true.
I wonder why that is. I wonder if that's a US-centric idea too.
Yeah, I'm not sure completely. I do know that everywhere around the world there is a push to continue to diversify climbing spaces. I think for a long time, when we think about climbers, we don't think about Black climbers or climbers of color. And I think a big part of that is just we don't see ourselves represented in climbing or a lot of, like, outdoor recreational sports and stuff like that. So
I meant to look it up before I came in, but there's, like, a website that is focused on Black outdoorness.
yeah,
I cannot remember the website.
Outdoor Afro.
Yes, I
Yeah.
think that's it.
The Instagram and website I'm actually thinking of in this moment is called Melanin Basecamp, by the way.
And I've been following them recently, and I
Yeah.
think it's, like, what they're doing is really cool. And they have really good articles that they write and release.
Yeah, we had if we're both talking about the same group.
I hope so.
Me too. But we had people from Outdoor Afro come to a meetup.
Oh, really?
Once, yeah, and it was awesome. And, like, yeah, they got to share with their community about climbing and that this is something that they can also do. So that was super cool.
Yeah. When I think about like, I don't know, I just think about in the modern day, like the push to like reduce DEI or whatever, and like what that even means necessarily, but it just seems so, how do I phrase this? I hate to use my capitalist brain, which doesn't exist most of the time, but like when I think of a company wanting to make money, it seems like you'd want every opportunity to like have people come into your place so you can like have new customers.
Right.
And if people aren't comfortable coming in, obviously they won't spend money with you.
Yeah.
And when I hear people like, I think back to when Black Panther came out, and like Marvel up until that point was like super white, all white superheroes, mostly men.
Yeah.
And that just being like one of the most popular Marvel films of all time.
It changed the game.
Yeah, for real. And then you like see these little kids like dressing up like T'Challa at Halloween and all that stuff, and just like that's one of those moments. Or like when the Little Mermaid, they made the live action one. I can't remember her name.
I think it was Halle.
Yeah, Halle. I feel like it's Halle Berry.
Halle Bailey.
Halle Bailey. Then there's Halle Berry.
Yeah.
Oh my god. And like you see little girls like dressing up like Ariel, and it's like, to me, like that's so representative of like if you see yourself in a reflection, you're like, oh my god, I can be something. I can.
It's so, representation is so important, and I do think that is one of the biggest reasons why like we don't see a lot of Black climbers, is like we don't see ourselves represented in this a lot of the times, but I do feel like that's changing. Yeah.
Now, I don't think you answered how many people are showing up when you hold like a night.
When we first started, I think at my first meetup there were like 8 people.
I mean, for a first time, that's great.
And it was like my friends, my track coach,
the people you look in the eye. You.
Like you're coming to this. But now we just had kind of like a big event. It was our summer kickback. I think we had like 80 people come.
That's so many people.
It was crazy. It was so cool. We had local Black artists come in and sell their art and just showcase what they have. And you've also transitioned to doing outdoor stuff too? Where are you climbing? Indiana is so flat. No, we're not climbing in Indiana.
We're going to like Red River Gorge.
We're going to Red River Gorge. We are taking a group outside this September, and we're gonna have a Black guide with us. It's gonna be so fun. I'm so excited.
I feel like climbing outside is so much more intimidating than climbing on a bouldering wall. Now there are ropes. There's a lot of safety stuff, unless you're that one guy who climbs free solo like a freak.
I don't do that.
Don't do that. How did you get interested in climbing outside, and then like obviously you started doing it with Indy Black Climbers for the very same reason, but like how did you transition into like running events outside of North Mass also?
Well, one of my friends from North Mass took me outside for the first time, me and my partner, and my partner and I were like, we're obsessed.
Just add another one to the list.
So we got all the gear. We were like, we're going to do this. Like we can do this for the rest of our lives. And we've been like researching things, going outside and practicing, just going outside with our friends from the gym, learning new things and stuff like that. I have done quite a few kind of like guided trips. They're called climbing camps, is what the person who hosts them is what she calls them. And it focuses just on getting people of color outside. So it's a small group. We all get together, we meet for the first time, and we go outside and we learn new things. And I always felt so good leaving trips like that. Just meeting new people, connecting with them in a very, again, like vulnerable way. You're being so vulnerable in front of these people that you've never met before. And a lot of them I'm still friends with, like through Instagram and stuff like that. But that definitely inspired me to want to get people outside. Like, okay, I can make this happen. I can get my community from Indianapolis outside. It's It's not impossible.
Have you climbed at gyms outside of Indianapolis?
I have, yeah. Just a few. I've been to, I was just in Washington, and I climbed at one of the local gyms there in Bellingham, if you've ever heard of that.
Bellingham.
Yeah.
Bellingham.
It was a cool gym. I've been, where else have I been? I've been to maybe just a few other climbing gyms, but...
The question I'm mostly looking to ask is, have you seen that other gyms also have a diversity issue?
Yes.
And secondarily, are there things that other gyms outside of Indianapolis or other cities are doing well that you think Indy could learn from?
I do think a lot of other gyms have a diversity issue. Again, I think it's just climbing in general. I think it's awesome that some people are putting affinity groups together. I know a lot of gyms have groups specific towards like women and genderqueer people or just people of color. So I think we need more spaces like that, just more spaces where others are able to come into this gym and again just see themselves represented and feel safe in that way. Yeah.
What is your vision for Indy Black Climbers? In like maybe just period.
Yeah.
Just wherever.
Yeah.
What's your vision for it?
My vision for I want to walk into the gym and I don't want to just see like one other Black person. I want to see.
Wait, vibe check.
Yeah.
We're failing right now.
Why are we failing? Oh, yeah. I see what you mean. Like, yeah, right. Kind of like right now. I'm the only Black person in the gym right now.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there are some other folks like upstairs or doing whatever, but I want to walk in here and I want to see myself represented. I want others to walk in here, most importantly, and I want them to feel safe and represented. And like, yeah, I've had a few like weird experiences in here just with other people, and I want others to feel safe when they're walking into a space like this.
So the ideal outcome is that we reach a critical mass of people.
Yes.
Where it's like you just feel comfortable in the space that you're in.
Especially, again, we're in Indianapolis. It's so diverse here. We're like literally in a Black neighborhood.
We are in a historic Black neighborhood.
Like we need to get Black people in here. There's no reason why like there shouldn't be Black people in here.
Definitely. My good friend Patrick Armstrong always uses the term people of a global majority.
Yes.
Not minority groups.
Yes.
So
yeah.
That's what we got to think about.
Yeah.
We're going to move on to what I call the canned questions.
Okay.
And we're going to talk about you a little bit.
Okay.
Third Space Indy is sponsored by City Rising. City Rising is a social impact studio. Most recently, they implemented an eviction data dashboard that looks to highlight and reduce the impact of the over 30,000 evictions, mostly affecting Black and Latino women that Indianapolis faces every year. Learn more at cityrising.org. City Rising has sponsored a question, which is, what is a third space to you?
A third space to me is where people can gather and talk to one another and laugh with one another and just be themselves. It's somewhere where people can forget about work or doing the dishes or the laundry, and they can just come and hang out with their friends and community members and be.
Would you say that North Mass Boulder fits that for you?
I do, yeah. North Mass Boulder absolutely fits that for me.
Are there any other places that fit that for you?
No.
None at all?
I don't think so.
Or do you just not hang out anywhere else?
Maybe I just don't hang out anywhere else. This is where I hang out.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Extension of that question.
Yeah.
What is a third space or place that has existed for you previously, but no longer does?
I think I told you I grew up just playing sports and being an athlete. Just like my volleyball team or my track team, being there with them just a couple of hours a day, and I can forget about everything besides the thing that I'm doing in that moment. I miss spaces like that, especially like with sports, you get really close with the people who you're playing with or hanging out with, and you really get to know one another. And you're also, again, being vulnerable and with one another and getting to know each other in that way, getting to see different types of humans. I think a lot of like the different sports teams that I was on growing up kind of acted as a third space for me.
I got asked to be on a volleyball team this week, actually.
Yeah?
Yeah, but for
play?
next year, I used to.
Okay.
I love volleyball.
I love volleyball too.
I would say, let me think about this. If I had to pick a sport, like if in an alternate reality I was a professional athlete, I think volleyball would be the one. Yeah.
I love volleyball. Yeah.
That and like ultimate frisbee or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
You talked a lot about you mentioned the word vulnerability a lot.
Yeah.
What do you think is the importance of like being able, willing, and comfortable being vulnerable?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like for me, life is about getting to know other human beings, getting to see who they are. And I think a part of that is seeing what makes them vulnerable and understanding their vulnerabilities and things like that. I think like as a teacher, I walk into school every day and look at a bunch of vulnerable little kids and I want them to feel safe. And like same here when I walk into Indy Black Climbers and I'm meeting someone for the first time and it's their first time climbing, I often ask like, how do you feel? And they're like, I'm nervous. And I can see that they're vulnerable in that moment. And I appreciate that people are honest and they're able to show that they're feeling vulnerable. I feel like, it really helps you get to know another person. And I think it's cool that people are able to just open themselves up in that way.
Yeah. Do you think we struggle, all people struggle to be vulnerable in the year 2026?
Yeah, I do.
Why do you think so?
Just people want to be cool. People want to seem cool. Like, I don't know. I feel like for a lot of people, like being vulnerable and talking about your feelings and, the deep things, I think it's scary for a lot of people, and like bringing up those emotions can be really hard. I feel like I experienced that a lot growing up, where I just kind of held everything in and I wasn't vulnerable and I hid that part of myself. I feel like being here, climbing, meeting other people and being vulnerable with others kind of helped me through that. Yeah.
I said something yesterday or the day before, but I think people are really afraid to have like real opinions.
Yeah.
Because now I think this discounts history also, what I'm about to say, which is that like people have always been mentally messed up, but mostly because no one ever went to therapy like 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Now we have therapy, but we've moved to having like phones and stuff. And because we have phones, we're all afraid of being perceived.
Yeah.
Because our lives are
we're afraid to share our opinions.
Extremely on watch.
Yeah, we're afraid to be canceled.
So we're afraid to be, we're afraid to be vulnerable. We're afraid to have like real opinions because we're just like afraid of cancellation, I guess is a good way to phrase it. That's what I think about a lot. Is like there's no like sense of privacy. And maybe that's why people are so comfortable here at North Mass, because when you're climbing on the wall, you have no thought in your brain other than how do I get over this?
Yeah, exactly.
How do you don't have a phone in your hand.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
Yeah.
And you're just like trying to figure your shit out.
No, I would agree with that. I think that climbing, especially during the school year, is a huge outlet for me. I can climb, and kind of like you said, when I'm climbing, I'm not thinking about school. I'm not thinking about my phone. It's just me and the wall. And I'm just trying to figure out how to make it to the top.
Definitely.
Yeah.
What do you do outside of climbing?
I recently just bought a pair of inline skates.
Yo! Oh wait, we gotta talk about this.
Yeah, I'm trying to learn how to skate. I want there to be like a a skating community that I can kind of like join and skate with people and like.
Have you ever listened to the podcast Third Space Indy?
Have you interviewed skaters? Okay.
In June, there's a queer and allies skate group called Board Meetings.
Okay.
They actually meet right over there on the other side of Factory Arts District.
Cool.
In the parking lot.
Yeah.
And they just like get together and skate and hang out.
That's cool.
They're not the only skate group around town, but there's definitely now that's mostly skateboarding, but there's skaters.
Gotcha.
Like inline skates and four wheels also.
Yeah.
Quads, that's the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
All types. So there's definitely skate groups around town.
No, I'll look into it. Yeah, I feel like I kind of like grew up going to the roller cave for like school events and stuff like that, and yeah, people just had like the quads. I don't know, not the inline skates, but yeah.
Why'd you pick up inlines instead of the four-wheeler?
I think the movement of inline looks really cool and like just really flowy. I want to be able to just.
You're all about the body movement.
Yes.
Do you do yoga too? There's yoga classes here.
There are yoga classes. I do occasionally do a yoga class. Yeah. Okay. I just love moving my body. I think, again, from the time I was like 3 and I was put in dance classes, it's just been an outlet for me.
Is it an energy thing or is it a?
I think it's an energy and a mind thing. I sometimes like, if I'm sitting at home for 3 days, I'm like, why do I feel like this? I don't feel good, and it's because I haven't moved my body.
Yeah, I have finally figured out for myself that when I'm feeling really, really bored and it's decent outside, that's an important part. I can just go on a bike ride and just like feel amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know why people don't ride their bike more.
I want a bike so bad. I feel like the area that I live in is not the most bikeable.
Okay, so you live in Lawrence.
Yeah.
How close to Benjamin Harrison Park do you live?
I actually live pretty close. I also think bikes are expensive. And I need to look into like what kind of bike I need and all that stuff.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I'm trying to I've wanted a new bike for like 5 years. I'm trying to cop a steal from like some random Bentonville tech bro who like bought a bike going, I'm going to start biking.
Yeah.
But it's like really nice. He buys like a $3,000 bike and he's like, I don't need this anymore. And he sells it for like $300. I know they're out there. Facebook Marketplace.
I've been looking on Marketplace.
Just go skulk it out.
Yeah.
Also BGI right over there. They're all really nice.
Okay, cool.
And they'll give you good bike suggestions. And people would argue that they're more expensive than some other bike shops, but I don't think they'll scam you. They'll give you a nice bike.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they'll have a conversation with you about the bike that you might want.
Yeah. I'm hoping to move closer to the gym when my lease is up.
You're like, I need to spend more time here.
So I definitely am going to invest in getting a bike when I do move to Indy. So, yeah.
North Mass is in like such an odd spot. I rode my bike here today.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's surrounded by great trails, but it's between the highway and the railroad, and it's like an awkward spot.
It's so awkward over there.
It's like easy to get here. So the Monon, there's kind of a way to get here, but you have to like ride through the worst road of all time.
Yeah.
But yeah, you should definitely get a bike.
Yeah, I want to. I've rented like the Fort Bend like city bikes, and they're hard to ride.
Yo, shout out to the Pacers bike share.
Yeah.
I will say, not hard to ride. I feel like a god every time I'm on one. I don't ride e-bikes, but like, sorry, I don't own an e-bike. But when I ride the Pacers bike share, I'm like, this is real. I see why people do this.
Yeah.
Do you teach in Lawrence Township?
I do.
So when you move, would you still teach there?
Yes. I will be sacrificing my 10-minute drive to work, but I think at the end of the day, it will be worth it. Being closer to the gym.
You desire to be here so
I desire
bad.
to be here so bad. I think during school too, it's so hard after a long day to go home and try to find clothes to wear and then drive 25 minutes in rush hour traffic to the gym, and Yeah, I want to just zoom down here after work and be able to walk here, bike here if I can.
Yeah. How long, when you are here, would you say you are here? Weird sentence.
Yeah, if, a nice summer day, if I come here in the evening and all my friends are here climbing, I can be here for like 3.5 hours, 4 hours.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
You're getting your money's worth.
Oh, no, I am.
Yeah.
I am. But on a school night, I do have to go to bed early, so maybe like 2 hours.
What is the greatest lesson you have ever been taught by a third grader?
I think just watching, I'm going to say the word vulnerable again. Watching them be vulnerable in themselves and not care about what people have to think about them is so inspiring to me. Like, they walk into the classroom and, like, of course, for the first couple months of school, they're nervous, but I feel like they come into themselves so much. And it's really cool to see. It's cool to see them being friends with one another. Sometimes, like, unfriending someone and then becoming friends again the next day.
But that's so true.
Yeah, no, it's so true.
I remember it's fourth grade. So I had a teacher named Miss Ivory in fourth grade who, dude, fourth graders are messed up. We used to make so much fun of her she would eat a Snickers every single day.
Oh my gosh. No, that's me.
Which, I think in retrospect, like, high-key teachers probably don't, like, when you think about it, like, you're getting to work at like 7 a.m.
Yeah.
Your lunch is at like 10 a.m.
Yeah.
With like children who are also eating way too early in the day.
Right.
And then it's probably like 1 in the afternoon. You're like, damn, I need a Snickers.
So hungry,
like in retrospect, Miss Ivory, we did you dirty. But I think about like the way friendship dynamics worked in her class, where it's like you're just friends with the people you sit next to.
Yeah.
And if they move, you feel wronged.
Yeah. Yeah.
Grade school is so funny.
Grade school is really funny. It's really funny watching these humans grow up and like just being with one another. I love being a teacher. I love being with kids. It's very hard, the job. But again, I feel just passionate about teaching. So yeah.
Was there ever so I wanted to be a teacher for a long time.
Yeah.
And I think I maybe have said this before, but I went to a friend's high school graduation party, and she was pretty well off. So the people who attended her party, like the parents or whatever, had like what would be considered like good jobs.
Yeah.
And I remember being like, oh, I'm thinking about becoming a teacher. And they go, why would you do that?
Yeah.
There's no money in that.
Yeah.
Which is like a terrible thing to tell an 18-year-old.
Yeah.
So that like got into my head, and I just didn't do it.
Yeah.
So I wanted to be a teacher. I wanted to be a psychologist. I wanted to like do stuff with people, I think.
Yeah.
And I ended up not doing that. Was there ever like an alternate reality you where you did something else?
I think yes.
Volleyball star?
Yeah. I mean, I think for a long time I was like, I'm gonna try to become like a professional athlete. When I was in school, I was not a good student. I was not a good student. I talked a lot. I did really dumb things sometimes. I had bad grades. It wasn't until I was at volleyball practice once, and it was like our junior year of high school, and everyone's like committing to colleges and stuff like that, and everyone was going around and asking what everyone was going to major in. And for a long time, I was just like, I'll do like sports, like psychology or like physical therapy and things like that, just because, I don't know, I think I was just close to that, being an athlete. And then I heard one of my teammates say that they were gonna major in elementary education. And then I was like, wait a second, I can be a teacher.
It was like the opposite of my experience. You're like,
Yeah,
light bulb moment.
yeah.
You're like, oh my God.
Yeah. I was like, wait, I can be a teacher. And then I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this. And yeah, a lot of people were like, yeah, teachers don't make any money, and the public education system is kind of bad, and like it's not fun for a lot of teachers right now. And I was like, yeah, I see that.
Isn't that so unfortunate, by the way?
It's unfortunate.
Like, everyone has this observation of this thing kind of sucks, but like there's a consistency there where everyone's like, oh, this kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Why aren't we like making it better for them?
Yeah. In fact, we're making it worse for them.
That is true.
And our teachers.
Yeah, I grew up with a lot of teachers.
Yeah.
My stepfather. Why do I always get these mixed up?
Yeah.
My stepfather was the parish manager of a church school.
Okay.
His sister was my elementary school librarian. One of the other parishioners at our Catholic church was my gym teacher. My stepfather's sister, daughter, his daughter's mother, and then like a whole bunch of other surrounding people were all like just like a lot of teachers in my life.
Yeah.
And so I've just always had this like really, I guess, more, it's always been like kind of personal where it's like, oh yeah. And then I also wanted to be a teacher at one point.
Yeah.
It's like, what are we doing?
Yeah, I know.
Help these people out.
I love being a teacher. I don't think it's sustainable for me, and just the way that I see my life going. I think this past year it really took a toll just on my mental health and in my physical health. And yeah, I don't want to live through that. So I'm definitely just trying to find ways to continue to teach in the meantime, in a healthy way. I don't know if there is a healthy way.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate.
It is unfortunate. It's unfortunate. And it's also just scary understanding that the leaders like in our country and in our state don't care.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Agreed entirely. Hey, have you considered making teaching better? I say into the camera.
Yeah. Please.
Or the job, not teaching, the jobs of teachers.
The
Because
jobs
I'm sure
of teachers.
you're very capable.
And, yeah, and like even the roles of students, I think they deserve better.
Totally.
Yeah.
Someone said to me a couple months ago, not to pivot into this, but children are like the most disrespected minority in the world, basically.
They have like no autonomy at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they're told to come into school, and I am a person who kind of like thrives off of structure, and a lot of kids do too, but they have to do so much. It's crazy. They are taking so many tests now, and they're told like if they fail these tests, like you're a bad student or like you're not smart, and it's actually very ridiculous, and it makes me upset.
Yeah.
The way that they're treated in our education system.
Mm-hmm. There's like crazy. Someone was telling me, especially for like English as a second language or EL, English language learners, like the English competency. Oh my God, I cannot speak today. Tests are like really messed up and like hard.
Yeah, like, sometimes I'm, like going over something with my kids or like looking at a test, and I'll look at a question and I'm like, what are they asking? And I'm like, if I can't understand this, I'm not sure how they expect my third graders to understand this.
Entirely.
Or like, English language learners or other learners with like disabilities or things like that. It's upsetting sometimes. They deserve more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I appreciate you sharing with me.
Yeah.
Is there anything that's been on your heart, on your mind, on your soul that you've been thinking about?
Just in general.
Yeah.
I think I'm on summer break right now, and I honestly have had the best summer of my life.
Let's go. Thank you, North Mass.
No, thanks, North Mass. No, I've had like just really amazing opportunities this past year, and I don't know. I feel like I'm like entering this new realization of the way that I want to live my life, and I feel very passionate that I don't want to die being dissatisfied with the way that I'm living my life. I feel very passionate about doing things that make me happy, that make others happy. Just like living my life to its fullest potential, I guess. I feel like growing up, I had a lot of bad things just happen to me, and like I lost my mom last year, which was really hard on me. And I think especially me losing my mom has made me I just want to live my life. I want to make my mom proud. I feel like us as humans, we're living through each other. I feel like if I can do my best to just put my best foot forward and do things that make me happy and make others happy, we can do things that, I don't know, make the world a better place, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I have this new passion of just wanting to live my life and do what I want and not care about, I don't know, what others are thinking.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And is that like, would you say you've thrown yourself into Indy Black Climbers more with this mentality?
Yeah, I think so. I think this year with Indy Black Climbers, I've tried to just put myself out there more. I spoke on a panel at a climbing festival earlier this year, which was really cool. We just had our summer kickback, which I planned the whole thing, and I've never planned an event like that before. So that was really awesome to do, and it felt good to put my time into it. I feel like it wasn't like school where I was dreading doing a lesson plan or something like that. It felt good to plan it and to like plan it for my community, and then to just see it all play out was crazy.
Yeah. We did a 13-mile walk in the spring, and it was like just a walk.
Yeah.
I need to really emphasize that. We started in Broad Ripple and walked to Garfield Park, 13 miles. And when you talk about like planning an event of the size that you did, like 80 people, where there were musicians and artists and that type of stuff, I cannot imagine the level of complexity that comes with that.
Yeah.
When it was like already like kind of annoying / like complicated to plan just like a walk where we had very set trails.
Yeah.
You know?
See, I feel like here it's easy. You know, like people just come in, they get signed at the front desk, and then they climb, or they like go outside and they shop. I thought it was super fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Every episode, I ask a question from the previous guest.
Okay.
The previous guest for this episode is named Sienna Baldy. She's a local muralist.
Okay.
Very talented. She asks, what is a food memory that you associate with a specific place?
Okay. Yeah. Let's go. I love food. They're in Red River Gorge.
I was like, is she gonna mention Miguel's?
I'm not gonna mention Miguel's.
Okay.
I'm not gonna mention Miguel's. There's another place though called Red Point Barbecue.
Okay.
And it is this just really good barbecue restaurant. It's honestly like this gym in Red River Gorge. If you don't know a lot about Red River Gorge, like they're in a food desert. There are no grocery stores there. Like you have to like go to the gas station to get groceries. So like to have Red Point Barbecue there is really cool. But like every weekend I go down, my friends will climb, and as soon as we get done climbing, we'll go to Red Point Barbecue and we'll just get a bunch of food and we'll eat it. and we'll take it with us, like back to wherever we're staying. And usually we have leftovers. So we take our leftovers to the crag with us when we climb the next day. So like we'll be climbing and we'll just be eating ribs while we're climbing or like eating our leftover mac and cheese. Yeah, I think like those are some of my favorite memories, just like snacking at the crag with people. A crag is a place where you climb outdoors. Mm-hmm. So yeah, just eating food at the crag with people, PB&Js and stuff like that, canned tuna.
Yeah. Dude, canned tuna.
Yeah.
Do you normally, when you go to the gorge, do you do like an Airbnb or are you camping?
Usually I camp. I'll do an Airbnb if for like going down with a big group. For our trip in September with Indy Black Climbers, we have an Airbnb just because a lot of the people who are coming have never even camped before. And I just want to like eliminate as many barriers as possible.
Yeah, definitely.
With like just getting people outside. So yeah, we have an Airbnb, and yeah, it'll be super fun.
Last time I was in Red River Gorge, I was 22 years old. That was 8 years ago.
I'm assuming you didn't climb down there, which is...
I did climb.
Oh, you did?
I was leading a summer... Well, no, I specifically did not climb. Sorry.
But you were there.
I was
you saw
there
climbing.
For climbing.
Yeah.
Like I was leading... Everything in my life ties back to summer camp, at least when I was 22 and younger.
Okay.
But there was a program at my summer camp called Trailblazers, where that was the program at summer camp that left the camp to go elsewhere. And one of the programs they do would be go to Red River Gorge and climb.
Yeah,
so I was
cool.
the counselor over that group of things. And then that weekend, I guess it wasn't a weekend, it was during the week. It just like poured down rain so bad.
Yeah, that happens at the Red sometimes.
And we were driving on the road while it was pouring down rain in like this crappy camp bus, and it was not fun.
Yeah. Okay, but you were a camp counselor.
Yeah.
That's so fun. I do feel like in my alternate reality, I would have loved to be a camp counselor.
It fits in this short conversation we've had, which is the first time we've encountered each other, that fits you deeply.
I grew up going to summer camp. I don't know if you've heard of Camp Tecumseh or
I do know that's in the north.
Camp Flat Rock. Yeah,
I know Flat Rock too. That's closer to Bloomington, kind of.
Yeah.
I know all these places.
Yeah, like Happy Hollow. I loved going to stay away camp, and like the counselors were so inspiring to me because I feel like counselors were just themselves. Like they didn't have their phones.
Hey, what's the word? They were
vulnerable.
Okay. A lot of my favorite people when I was younger. How do I phrase this? Maybe favorite people is not right because that implies that like I hung out with them. The people I looked up to the most were the counselors that I had when I was a camper. Shout out to, what is Carly's last name? I just know Carly. Andrew Spalding, who runs a design agency, who's also a massive climber.
Okay.
Louisville. People like those.
Yeah.
Gary, who's like staying with me this week for Gen Con. Like these people are people I look up to. Like.
Funny we're talking about this. There is a person that works here. Her name is Ellen.
Oh yeah.
I don't remember exactly what her role is, but she has a big role. And she was my camp counselor at Camp Tecumseh one year. Yeah. And so I like walked into the gym.
Did you like freak out?
Yeah, no, I walked into the gym one day and when I tell you like, she is the epitome of a camp counselor. She just has all the camp counselor vibes. Like, not afraid to be herself.
A little bit crusty.
A little bit crusty in the best way possible, Ellen. But like, no, I walked in and I looked at her and I was immediately, I knew who she was. And yeah, it was so cool to see her here and then just remember that like she was my camp counselor. And like, I feel like summer camp were some of my most like formative years.
Were you ever a counselor at Tecumseh or Flat Rock? Or
I wasn't. I wanted to be for some time.
Do you have any specific special memory of summer camp? Bare your soul. Did you ever kiss someone at summer camp?
No, I never kissed anyone at summer camp.
I think that's probably okay. I don't actually condone that.
I never did that at summer camp. Once my cabin, we did serenade like another boy's cabin with like some Taylor Swift song. I don't know.
That's
that
so
was
funny.
yeah.
We used to joke that the summer camp. So someone asked me, the summer camp I went to is YMCA Camp Mingo, 45 minutes south of Louisville in Otter Creek Park. Someone asked me that. We used to joke that our summer camp used to be like extremely heteronormative.
Yeah.
And then like over time, as I became a counselor over the 5 years, not me specifically, but like it just became, we just called it gay camp. Like it became gayer over time.
Yeah. No, and I see how summer camps can be so heteronormative, especially like Camp Tecumseh is like a Christian camp.
Is it Christian or is it YMCA?
What'd you say?
Is it a YMCA camp or is it actually Christian?
I think it is a YMCA camp. But like we went to chapel every morning and you know we sang songs and stuff like that. So yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm not like religious or anything, so I was always just kind of standing there, swaying along. I mean, the songs were good.
I will say, Camp Mingo also a YMCA camp. Obviously, YMCA stands for Young Men's Christian Association.
Yeah.
Not once would I ever associate my summer camp with being religious at all. The only prayer we ever said was when the CEO would come, the CEO of the YMCA of Greater Louisville would come and he'd be like, let's say a prayer. And also that dude really loved the American flag, like raising and lowering it. That dude, like he would get on us if we were not like at attention while doing it. So it's like when Steve Tarver is here, you got to act a certain way, but when he's not, you're fine. We used to do what I would call extremely sacrilegious things.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
Give me an example.
One time there's very clear eras at camp. When I was 18 years old, me and my friend Griff were running this group in it was like the tweens, like between like 9 and 13.
Yeah.
So this is a 2-week campers that is overnight camp, obviously. And we 1 week did a thing called Bird Week, but it became like this crazy thing where we like started to quote unquote worship a bird deity.
Okay.
And so like we built a giant nest around the American flagpole and like did this crazy like ceremony to summon the bird god.
Yeah.
Like, I just recall, I want to say the vice president of the YMCA of Greater Louisville witnessed this and was like, what did I just watch?
Yeah. That sounds about summer camp.
Yeah. Very, very few. And we also went to chapel every morning.
Yeah.
The chapel is just like place for gathering. I think historically they probably held service there or something.
Yeah.
But over time, just like I said, gay camp, like way different.
I wish I went there.
Maybe you sang different songs than we did.
Yeah, I think we did.
Yeah, I don't know. It's funny to think about.
Yeah.
I got a million stories. It's an interesting time, and it's also super formative.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I think camp was also another one of those places where it was sometimes isolating for me at times, just like never seeing myself represented in spaces like that. And if I was in a cabin with another Black girl, like we usually were the only 2 Black girls in the camp.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
Yeah. But like, yeah, I feel like I learned a lot about myself just being away from home, like trying to understand like who I am and what the heck I'm doing. So yeah.
It's interesting to hear you say that also in comparison to this space. Like there's a counselor who is one of the most talented photographers I've ever met, by the way. He was talented then. He's even more talented now. His name's Tim Wachuku. And he was like one of 2 Black counselors. And I just remember having conversations with him about feeling isolated in a lot of ways. And I don't think
I ever had a Black counselor just growing up and going to camp.
Definitely.
So yeah.
Northern Indiana.
Come on, guys.
All right. Is there anything else you'd like to talk about before we wrap up today?
I don't know.
If not, that's okay.
Yeah, I feel like we talked about quite a few things. I think mostly I just want to get my community in the outdoors and indoor climbing gyms. I'm so passionate about climbing and I love it so much. And again, I just want others to feel this, to know what it feels like, to challenge yourself on the wall and to have these connections with other people, most importantly. I want people to experience this because it's awesome. And we deserve to be in spaces like this and to have spaces like this.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Jai-Lyn, one last question.
Yeah.
What question would you like to ask the next Third Space Indy guest?
What is your favorite outdoor adventure memory, if you've had one? If you haven't had an outdoor adventure type of memory, what's the closest thing to that you've experienced?
I hope people have experienced the outdoors.
Yeah, no, experience the outdoors. It's life-changing.
Great question.
Yeah.
For anyone who wants to find you, if you would like to be found, where can they find you?
Yeah. If you want to follow and support Indy Black Climbers, our handle on Instagram is just Indy Black Climbers, INDY Black Climbers. If you want to follow me and stay updated in my climbing journey, I have a climbing page. It's J Climbs LOL, JAI Climbs LOL.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Also, I suspect if you walked into North Mass Boulder, you may just see you sitting around, climbing around.
Come say hi. I love to talk to people. I love to meet new people. I'm friendly. Come say hi.
You are extremely friendly.
Yeah.
I just want to say that as a compliment.
Thank you.
When I walked in the door, I didn't know what you looked like, but it was so obvious who you were because you immediately brightened up. And I was so excited to sit down with you. So thanks for joining me.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And thank you for watching or listening to this episode of Third Space Indy. You can find me by going to Third Space Indy on Instagram or by going to thirdspaceindy.com, where I leave show notes and a blog. Thank you so much to City Rising for sponsoring the podcast. And thank you, as always, to the local artist Jennasen for allowing me to use your song Scared Rabbit as the intro music. Thank you once again for watching or listening. See you in the next one. Goodbye.
Bye, everyone.